Greetings, Bloomfield Township. I'm Mike McCready, your Bloomfield Township Supervisor. November is a month of gratitude as we saw many charitable efforts across the township. You may have noticed our township firefighters at several locations across the township on Thanksgiving Eve raising money for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. This annual tradition is one of many efforts throughout the calendar year by our police and fire departments to raise money for local charities and those in need. You may also have seen first responders participating in a gift card drive for veterans. Our Bloomfield Township Police and Fire Benevolent Fund charities have raised millions of dollars over the years. Giving is a regular event for our employees at the township. One example is the Casual for a Cause. Staff wear jeans one Thursday a month and donates to a local charity. This season at Township Hall, you will find our holiday giving tree, which allows employees to help families in need. We can also commend township staff for their charitable efforts through the year, and I am proud to have an opportunity to highlight them in today's Supervisor Summary. Next, let's talk to our Assessing, Environmental, and Public Works Department. Let's begin with our Township Assessor and Deputy Assessor, Darren Kratz and Jennifer Werthman, and discuss the SAD process. Darren, if a resident feels their subdivision road is in bad shape and is looking for help, tell us about the very first steps they need to take, which includes reaching out to your department about an expression of interest.
That is the first step. So if anybody is interested in having the roads repaved, the first step would be coming to the assessing department and inquiring about getting an expression of interest done.
So once they do the expression of interest, then what happens?
So they'll have to turn those back into the assessing department. We'll make sure that the signatures are...
Oh, I see. So they're going to pick up a petition from you to go out and pass around to the community?
Well, not yet. They'll hand out the expression of interest to the residents of that subdivision. They'll turn them back in, and as long as they have over 50% of the signatures, we'll take that to the elected officials, the 3 elected officials, and then what will happen is then we'll get the approval from you guys to move forward with the project. Once we get that approval from you guys, then we send that information off to the Road Commission for Oakland County, and then they'll start doing the design and the planning, and then they'll come back with an estimated cost for us.
So the expression of interest is actually a petition in itself that's passed out to the community to understand what the process is, and if they want to sign on to take it to the next step, which is to go to get approval from the township supervisor, clerk, treasurer, which then sends it to RCOC, which then will look at the design of the road and come back with cost expectations?
Correct, yeah, yep. And then at that point, depending on what the cost estimate is, we'll get with the person who's the liaison for the subdivision, kind of let them know, and then we'll make a decision whether or not it's going to go to the petition process or not. If they say, yep, let's move forward, then we'll draft up, we'll get the petition drafted up and ready to go with all the correct information, the cost estimate per unit, and then they'll come in and they'll circulate that amongst the neighborhood.
And so when you draft a petition, it's basically going to talk about the cost and how it will be shared amongst the neighborhood where they're going to get the new roads redone.
Correct.
Is the petition done developed by the clerk's office, so it's a legal document?
No, we actually do the petition here in the assessing department. A copy of it, I believe, is left on file at the clerk's office in case somebody wanted to see it. But we actually draft the actual petition that's going to go out.
And then it's distributed to the community, or people from that community go out with the petition and actually go door to door and ask for signatures, and then they leave something behind with the residents. So if they don't want to sign it at that time, they'll have something to study and to come back with their questions.
So the way it normally works is once the petition's drafted and it's approved by the board and our legal counsel, the liaisons for that subdivision will come back in and pick that up. They'll circulate it around to the neighborhood or the properties that are going to be impacted by the special assessment. As long as they get over 50% of signatures and 50% of frontages, then that petition will go back in front of the township board for approval. There's 2 public hearings for each special assessment district. And so that's kind of the way that process works. It's not really driven by the township. other than we prepare the information.
It's driven by the neighborhood.
It's driven by the neighborhoods, yeah.
Right. And so when you talk about you need over 50% of signatures for not just frontage, but by homeowner as well.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Darren. Let's now talk to Jennifer Werthman about the financing process. Jen, if approved by the residents, how does the financing process work for paying the SAD?
So once the SAD is approved by our Board of Trustees, then we kind of hand it over to the Treasury Department, and Treasury will take the pre-designated unit of benefit amount, and they're going to distribute that onto the taxpayer's winter tax bill. So if a project finishes up in, say, November of this year, then the December of 2026 tax bill will reflect that first payment. It's distributed across 15 years. Residents are able to pay it at any point in full if they choose, or they can experience the whole 15-year
But
payment
it goes
cycle.
on the February tax bill.
Yep.
Right.
The winter tax bill.
The winter tax bill. And when does that start? Let's say we're just finishing up some of the road work in Bloomfield Village right now.
Right.
When will they see their first invoice on that project?
It'll show up on their winter 2026 tax bill.
Okay. And we've been financing it for the residents versus going to the county because the county only offers a 10-year financing plan where the township is offering a 15-year financing plan, correct?
Correct.
And there's a difference, I understand, in interest rates as well.
Right. The municipal bonds tend to have a lower interest rate than if you were to go out and try and secure financing on your own.
Okay. Through the county.
Correct.
Right. So we charge just a little bit above whatever the municipal bond rate is.
1%.
Right. That's what I understand.
Yep.
So we get a better rate for our township
Correct.
residents, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Okay. And then out in the field, we have contracted with Mark Mesler, who was formerly a employee of the Road Commission, to help us with our SADs.
Right.
Can you tell us a little about Mark's role and how you interact with Mark?
Absolutely. So Mark is able to be more of a boots on the ground sort of person. He is there day to day inspecting the work that's being done, making the contact with the residents face to face, which is a little harder for us to do when we're in the office. He spends that time. He's out in each project probably for 15 to 20 hours a week, watching what's being done, making sure that the specs are being met, and making that contact with our residents just to make sure that everybody's happy.
Yeah, and working with Mark, from what I've seen, I've been out with him in the field, he has found many areas that needed to be cut out and redone.
Correct.
Which, if we had caught, would have shown problems sooner than later.
Absolutely. He's caught some issues we had from projects before he was on board, and he's jumped right in and helped us get those remedied.
That's great. And then as we close out this year, we know there's some residents out there that these can be somewhat unaffordable at a time for them because different circumstances. So we started a deferment program. Can you tell us a little bit about the deferment program?
Sure, absolutely. The deferment program is actually housed in-house. It's financed through the township itself. So we have a lot of flexibility and leeway in what qualifies residents. There is a pretty generous actual income limit on it, and it's to help people who are living on, a more restricted sort of a budget. And it has to be applied for every year, and if somebody finds that they're able to pay off their special assessment, then they're able to do it at any point, but they can continuously apply for the deferment for up to the 15 years of the SAD.
Right, that's basically a loan they're receiving from the township. We'll pay the assessment for them, and then we charge them a simple interest until they can pay us back.
Correct, and it is good, like I said, for the 15 years or until they sell or refinance the property.
Thank you, Jennifer. Next up, we'll be talking to Corey Almas, our Director of Engineering. Corey, tell us about the project at Vernor Estates. Where does it stand, and what's some of the work you had done there?
Yeah, Mike, the Vernor Estates project is a water main replacement project, and it's exactly that. We're replacing the water main through Vernor Estates from north to south, and we're very close to completion with that job. And that's a pre-chlorinated pipe bursting project where the contractor fuses HDPE pipe together, and then they pull in segments the pipe through the existing water main. What that does is it expedites the project, speeds up the project, and minimizes the inconveniences to the homeowners.
So you're lining the old pipe with a new pipe?
No, we're bursting. We're replacing the existing pipe with a new pipe by bursting.
Gotcha.
So the pipe is flumed through and bursts out the existing pipe that's in the ground. The pipe generally goes in the same exact location as the existing pipe. There are some modifications to that where we have to open cut, but all in all, that project's going quite well. And
when do you anticipate wrapping that up?
oh, that's the pipe bursting itself and the water, all the water hookups, the hydrants, the gates, all the new gate valves and wells. We're expecting that to be done this month before the holidays. So in the next couple of weeks, we expect to be.
And we're watching the temperatures are really starting to go down. Yeah. How does that affect the project?
With the pipe bursting and excavation, it doesn't. With the landscaping restoration and the restoration to the pavement that was disturbed, that's going to delay some of that until next spring.
Okay, and then the other big project that you just completed is South Bloomfield Highlands. Can you give us an update and the experience with South Bloomfield Highlands?
South Bloomfield Highlands was an awesome project for the township and that subdivision. That was an SAD project that the residents came to the township requesting the replacement of that existing water well distribution system. That was failing. It was beyond its life expectancy. So what we did with our consulting engineers, designed for the replacement of that existing system, and that project went flawlessly.
Yeah, and you're 100% complete now. Everybody's hooked up to the new water system.
Everybody is 100% connection to the new township water supply. We do have a couple punch list items, and we're currently going through the decommissioning of that existing well system, the abandonment of the existing water main that is out there, the removal of all the appurtenances, the hydrants and gates, and then the decommissioning and abandonment of
That's
the
a big project.
wells.
Those were what, 209 homes that were living off those wells?
That's correct.
And then also the fire hydrants. We lost power. We couldn't fight a fire there if we had to. You had to go. I think the fire department had to go hundreds of yards away.
Yeah. There was a plan in place that the fire department had should or had there been a fire out there. Without using that existing system. The problem with that existing system, it was undersized. The hydrants may or may not have been working out there at the time, but what would have happened is they would have drawn and collapsed the existing water main had they hooked up to those wells.
Well, congratulations. I know that was a big project, and I'm sure the neighbors are all pleased.
It's something that the engineering is very, very proud of that project. There was a huge collaboration, including the assessing department. Jen and Darren were heavily involved in that right from the start because it was an SAD. Planning, building ordinance, they were heavily involved. Steve Fink, Chris Fox, Andrea Bibby, and before she retired, Patty Volker.
Right.
Huge influences. DPW and their involvement, Mike, were just, they were incredible, and it was a great team effort. Yeah. And I can't forget HRC's work and their involvement in the design. The Board of Trustees, they wanted the staff to expedite that project, and we did. And I think, and including my staff in engineering and environmental services, did a remarkable job. I got to mention Karen Stickle, Chris Ross,
all the HRC people.
My HRC, and their Tom Krause out in the field was amazing. And then on my team, Mark Hendricks, Greg Turner, now Corey Borton. And Adam Skotsky and Adam Poulter, all of them, just an amazing job on that project.
Well, thank you for that, Corey. And as we just wrap up here, those were very good 2025 projects. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mike.
Noah, we had our big first winter snowstorm, and I know I texted you over the weekend how we prepared, and you responded back. And I tell you, I got up on Sunday morning and I was watching the trucks. They were out working. So tell us preparation. What'd you expect? How'd you handle it this past weekend?
So preparedness starts for us on November 1st. We have gotten snowfalls as early as November 1st. So we have the equipment and the staff ready to go at that time. This storm, in fact, we knew was coming for several days in advance. So we could take a look at it and kind of get our resources together. It was shaping up to be a Sunday event for our people. When we went, we had to let it fall first and then go out and plow the snow. But our staff were in at 4 and 5 a.m. on Sunday morning after the storm. It moved out about 2 a.m. on Sunday for us. It lingered a little bit, but no accumulation after that. And then it took my staff until 8 p.m. to get through the township and do every roadway by the end of the day.
Now, was there any preparation on the roads before that snow hit?
Yep, we have our county call-in roads, which are more main roads for us, which are connector roads like Cranbrook or Wabeek or Hickory Grove Road, and we treated those ahead of the storm to try and get ahead of the pack that was coming. With the warm ground temperatures and the cool temperatures above, that created a slick surface right on the roadway that we tried to combat.
I was going to head out to dinner on Saturday night, and I got out on the road. It was so slippery, I just turned around and went back home. I'm like, you can't drive on this.
Yeah, additionally, we saw like over an inch an hour snowfall rates at that time, and it just, the melting that's achieved on the roadway can't keep up with that type of snow event.
So you have workers on call, ready to come in, and you follow the weather, obviously. So tell us a little bit how they have to wait on call. And then when do you call them in before a storm is coming in? What's your schedule? What's your process?
Well, in the township with our operations and the roads we take care of, we kind of have to let the snow fall. So it's kind of predicting when the snow's going to move out of the area. Again, with this storm, it wasn't a lake effect or anything that popped right up, so we knew it was coming. We were able to tell our staff to expect a call at 5 a.m. instead of them kind of waiting on knife's edge. But we do have call. Every employee in DPW is on call from November 1st until April 15th to respond.
And how many trucks will you send out into a storm like we just had?
12 to 14 trucks will go out in any event, and that's our fleet behind us here. And then we have 2 graders that in a very large event, we can send those out as well. But they do damage to the roadway.
And how long does it take them to get around the township sending out all those vehicles?
On a good day, we can do it in 12 hours. This storm, it took us about 15, and that was a culmination of it was the first event. It was a heavy, wet snowfall, and then we have a lot of new staff and a lot of retirements that we've gone through in the last year. So we're training up and actively getting staff prepared to go out there. So.
And as it looks, we are going into, it looks like a very cold weather pattern. So do you see some forecast for another snow, maybe? With some accumulation coming?
Yep, we got another one on tap. We're in a very active event right now, or pattern, and we're in a low temperature pattern right now. So for the next 2 to 3 weeks until we get kicked out of this pattern and see weather in the mid 30s, you're going to see a chance for snow every 2 to 3 days. And that's manifesting itself on Monday tonight. We're supposed to get an overnight event. So our staff will be in again tomorrow plowing after that event. It looks like about an inch of snow right now and more in the southern areas. But then we have another chance on Thursday and then Saturday that it's looking, and those may not develop, but we are going to get that continual chance, and we're going to have the cold weather to support snow.
Well, good luck, and thank you for all your work, and thank your staff too, because getting up on call and plowing those roads for that length of time takes a lot of energy, and they've got to be prepared.
Yep, and we're definitely prepared to do it, and we're out here working for everybody to make their commute safe.
Thank you, Noah.
Thank you.
As we end the Supervisor Summary, I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season. I hope you experience safe travels and a wonderful season and a Happy New Year.